This is Dr. Sarah Bowie from the South Carolina Department of Education's Office of Personalized Learning. Welcome to a quick tour of how the South Carolina Teaching Standards 4.0 element environment connects to the Measuring PCBL Toolkit. The purpose of this video is to provide a short introduction of how the Measuring PCBL Toolkit outcomes can help measure growth in environment. If you haven't watched the welcome video and the header of the crosswalk document that explains our overall purpose, we suggest watching that before you continue with this video. The Measuring PCBL Toolkit focuses on 8 outcomes that we believe are distinctive of a high-quality PCBL system. The toolkit was created to help make measuring PCBL impacts as accessible as possible for classroom teachers, school coaches, and leaders, or anyone wanting to document the effects of PCBL practices for learners. Let's dig in and learn more about the connections between environment and the Measuring PCBL Toolkit outcomes. If you are wanting to measure your impact in environment, you could use the Measuring PCBL Toolkit outcome of self-efficacy. We know that in order to have a classroom that provides a safe space for all students to take risks and maximize learning, learners need to believe in their ability to learn, improve, and achieve their goals. We are going to explore how you could use self-efficacy to measure impact in the SCTS 4.0 element of environment. Let's level set for a minute first. Why is having self-efficacy important? We know that having self-efficacy means students can persevere and adjust when something is difficult. They believe in their ability to improve their skills, and they are okay with mistakes in their learning because they know it means they can practice more and try again. We bet that students having that sense of self-efficacy in their learning is one of the top priorities in your context as we prepare students for college and career. The indicators for the SCTS 4.0 rubric element environment and the PCBL outcome self-efficacy can work together to support teachers in collecting valuable data. For example, on the 4.0 rubric, teachers are expected to welcome all students and guests and provide a safe space for all students to take risks and interact with peers. The self-efficacy data collection tool has survey questions that ask learners about how well they feel around taking risks, what happens when schoolwork is hard, and if they feel like they can persevere and keep going even when something is difficult. Using the survey questions to find out how well students feel they can take risks in the classroom and do their best work even when that work is difficult can be used by teachers to inform and grow their instructional practices in this area. So how might you use this PCBL outcome to measure this 4.0 element? Let's click into the crosswalk to see how we might use the data collection tools in the Measuring PCBL Toolkit. Let's imagine I am a second grade teacher who has chosen to set a goal to work on the SCTS 4.0 rubric element of environment because I want to know how students feel about our learning environment and if it supports their risk-taking and learning. So I'm going to click on self-efficacy. I see that there are several prompts and questions I can use to create a survey for my students. I notice that each prompt has a code for which grade level it best fits. Since I am an elementary teacher, I want to make sure the prompts I select fit where they are as learners. I might pick a prompt that I can use with a Likert scale, like, when my schoolwork is hard, I keep trying and don't give up. Or, I can learn new things, even if they are hard for me. Then I might also pick one open-ended question, like, how do you feel about making mistakes? Once I made the survey, I would give it to one or all of my classes, depending on what I was trying to measure. After getting the survey results back, I could analyze the data by myself, with my coach, or with another colleague to see what I notice and wonder about what my students are saying about their level of self-efficacy. If I needed to follow up and do some small group interviews, I could. Then I could use the data to make some changes to my instruction based on what my students said. If my SLO was focused on this same 4.0 element, I could even use these prompts as pre and post data related to one of the competencies I might be working to integrate in my class. If you are wondering if you can do this with more than one outcome at a time, the answer is you can. You can use each of these tabs as a menu to pull from if it relates to the SCTS 4.0 element you are trying to measure. Now, what if I am a school leader or an instructional coach? How can I use this same crosswalk? Well, if your school has identified a few of the SCTS 4.0 elements that are your focus for the year, then you could ask everyone to focus on the same one or give them a choice between a few. Then, as the coach or school leader, you could create a school-wide survey using the prompts and questions from the data collection tool that apply to the SCTS 4.0 elements that are your focus. Have each teacher give the survey to one class during a given class period, and then reflect on that whole school data or individual class data when you all are meeting in your PLCs. Teachers could set their own growth goals around the data from their students. That is one way you can leverage the connection between the SCTS 4.0 rubric element environment and the data collection tools in the Measuring PCBL Toolkit. Now it's your turn to think about which Measuring PCBL Toolkit outcome you want to focus on and explore the survey prompts and questions. We love to partner with educators, so please remember you can always reach out to your regional coach by going to personalizedSC.ed.sc.gov/contact-us.